Hi and welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most interesting aspects of learning English. Differences between the British and American accents. Even though both come from the same language, they can sound quite different, not only in the pronunciation of vowels and consonants, but also in rhythm, intonation, and even in some everyday words. Understanding these differences is important because English is spoken globally and we constantly interact with people who use different dialects. Knowing how each accent works helps us improve our listening skills, communicate more clearly, and adapt better depending on the context, whether in movies, music, school, or real conversation. With that in mind, I will start by explaining the key features that distinguish these two accents and why recognizing them can make a big difference in our English learning process. So, let's start. We will do and phonetic comparison with terms about rhoticity, vowels, intonation differences, and others. So, we will start with some examples to look the difference between American English and British English. So, we will do a phonetic analysis. Here we have two examples, two words. How it sounds, how these words sound. So the first word in a British English it sounds water, water, and in American English it sounds water, water. Sounds different. And the second example, this word in British English it sounds car, car, and with an American English it sounds car, car. Let's analyze others examples, and we have the help of the IPA or the International Phonetic Alphabet. This helps us to recognize or identify how we need or we should to pronounce the words. So here we have other examples, other words, 3 more words. So in the first word, with British English, it sounds dawns, dawns, and in an American English, dance, dance. The second example, the second word, better, in a British English, better, and in American English, better, better, and better. And in the third example, in the third word that looks a bit hard, but here we have the IPA, the transcription of the IPA. In British English is schedule, schedule. And in American English, schedule, schedule. So, that's it. Now, we will analyze phrases and sentences. We will do the pronunciation correctly depending of the dialect, and we will hear how sounds and the differences. So, in phrases, here we have the first phrase within American English. I want a glass of water. In American English, I want a glass of water. And with a British English, I want a glass of water. I want a glass of water. Sounds different, a bit different. The second phrase in American English, she parked her car outside. She parked her car outside. And in British English, she parked her car outside. She parked her car outside. The third phrase. In American English, let's dance together. Let's dance together. And in a British English, let's dance together. Let's dance together. Now the sentences. Here we have the first sentence. In American English, the weather is better in the summer. The weather is better in the summer. And with the British English, the weather is better in the summer. The weather is better in the summer. And finally, the second and last sentence. In American English, they change the schedule. They change the schedule. And with an British accent in British English, they change the schedule. They change the schedule. And that's it. With all these examples, we look the dialect variation improve real-world communication and broader language competence. With all that, sentences, phrases, words, we looked how the different dialects, in this case, American and British, change the way that English sounds. That was all. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.